How can we design a contemporary children's hospital through the eyes of children? They're coming here in conditions of stress. To create spaces that are legible and welcoming to kids was one of the key ambitions.
Wow, Steve, this is spectacular. This beautiful open space and natural light in a hospital. I mean, that's unusual.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah. This gallery space is really the heart space of the whole hospital.
Right.
This is the social spine, if you like, over multi-levels, as you can see. Every ingredient of the hospital is accessible from here, whether it's the kids' rooms or clinics, etc. There's the ability from each of the kids' rooms to see Sky, Kings Park, and in some cases the river as well.
So that's interesting because it is something that I'm quite interested in biophilic design, and there's proven health benefits that if you can see nature from your room, that your healing time is faster, your pain threshold is higher.
Yep.
So that's obviously been incorporated at this perfect location.
The creative team attached to this project is enormous. Not just architects, but all of the stakeholders, nurses and people who work in the hospital, plus a whole series of youth groups and kids groups. So they actually contributed pretty heavily to the composition of the spaces, to how we use colour, and in particular how we created wayfinding from a kid's perspective. There's a whole sequence of artwork which is integral to the building, not just as, if you like, individual pieces, but as a collective. There are a whole range of experiences, whether it's screens or sculptures for kids to play on. This is one of the very early but pretty critical sketches, which was looking at inspiration which we took from Kings Park as much as anything. The idea of the stem and petals as being the informing diagram for the entire building.
Right.
And each of the that petal form, that beautiful curvaceous petal form, enables every room to have outlook over this extraordinary parkland. Kings Park has informed the entire plan form of the building, and it's informed the entire colour palette for the building.
These are all natives, native trees and native bushes to the area, and flowers. And you've pixelated it, and then you've picked the colours from the pixelations.
Yeah,
that's
so
amazing.
we distilled this photography over a 6-month period, picking up the seasonal cross-section, and then, as you say, we pixelated, selected, and literally out of these came the absolute colours for the entire building.
I'm in the heart of Adelaide, about to visit the first public high school built here in over 100 years, and wow, have things changed.
Our brief was to create a new public high school in the city for 1,250 students. It's a STEM-focused school.
STEM is?
Which is science, technology, engineering and maths.
No.
And to do it in a really remarkable setting.
One of the beautiful architectural elements that we're looking at here are these really striking gold blades.
That's our aluminium veil, which provides shading and glare control to the internal space. And the veil also creates opportunities to celebrate kind of key moments inside. We wanted to create a space that was really light and welcoming for everyone that came in through the front door. So a space with a lot of volume and, of course, an incredible light source. So the roof's an ETFE membrane roof, and it actually inflates to different levels to let the right amount of light in. So when it's a really hot day, it contracts to provide shading, and when it's winter, it opens up to let all the light through.
It's unusual to see a school on multiple levels like this. How did you tackle that from a functionality perspective for the students?
Well, so in terms of verticality, we kept with the public spaces at ground level.
Yes.
So the library, the cafe, the gallery and forum space. Then you go up to administration, performing arts, and then of course up to the top to the sanctuary of the learning spaces.
Where it's nice and quiet, makes sense to me. Wayne, you were the educational planner on this project, and it sounds really important. What does that actually mean?
What it means is that we're responsible for planning out the relationships of the spaces, so the kinds of learning spaces, both in a horizontal sense, so what kind of space was next to what other kind of space, and that's really to promote this idea of interdisciplinary learning and the STEM program that they're doing here at the school, but it's also about how we stack these functions, because obviously we're in a vertical school, we're not
Yes.
in a traditional horizontal
Yep.
school setting. We didn't want the building to feel like it had an inside and an outside, wanted it to feel like one whole thing. I guess one of the examples of that is where we're sitting now. This lovely little window seat is expressing out to the street what's going on in the school. So it's this notion of learning on display, which is really important. Another example of that is over in the art studio, just over here to my left, where we've got a little podium, which is one of these little pods that pokes out in the facade to the north and into the parklands, and you can see kids obviously doing some artwork there, which is fantastic. And then inside in the atrium, we've got these maker spaces, these little pods that talk to one another across the atrium and really show students one another what's happening inside the atrium.
This is Vodka Palace, your latest project.
Yes.
It's beautiful. I've seen it
you.
from the outside. Why Vodka Palace?
Well, the owner simply happens to make a very good ginger vodka cocktail.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm looking at this beautiful concrete roof running outside. So the architecture really informs the interiors, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean, with this project, it was to have a very minimal palette anyway. If you have steel, glass, concrete and timber together, you really can't go wrong. The timber was to actually temper the coolness of the concrete, and the reason for the concrete, apart from being good for the coastal location to weather in a strong material, it was also to create a cave-like ambience for the client. Janie wanted to feel like she really didn't have to go anywhere else if she didn't want to. So it was to satisfy all of her needs in that way, and also for her to actually be able to turn it on and create a nice party experience for her close friends.
So sort of split personality.
Split personality, absolutely, yes.
Is the house sustainable?
We have 24 solar panels on the roof, and it's down to a Fronius hybrid system downstairs. The idea with the woods externally, they are from sustainable regrowth forests, and the lunar wood and the Akoya are certified in forestry stewardships.
It's a stunning house. I can't wait to look around. This is stunning. It's a bedroom worthy of a palace, actually. It's got a real Zen feel.
Absolutely.
And the other thing which is so beautiful in this room, these beautiful soft curtains looking out to a balcony with ocean views. But also that brings in the sea breeze.
It does, and it helps to cross-ventilate the house because it does get warm up here.
This feels like a self-contained apartment for the client. So where do our friends stay?
We've got a separate caboose out in the back garden.
A caboose?
A caboose.
What's a caboose?
Come with me.
I can't wait to see this one. So you've got a beautiful black charred timber backdrop there. What is
Yes.
that hiding?
That is the caboose.
The caboose. And
Yes.
what actually is the caboose?
The caboose is where you stumble after you've had a good night. It's the crash pad.
Here we have a bar and a very cool entertaining deck. So this is the split personality.
This is the split personality. This is where the client entertains and welcomes her friends, and it's like a little mini social hub come nightclub, really, in a way.
You've got a bar over there.
Teppanyaki bar.
Oh my God,
absolutely.
really?
Drinks trolley comes down the side there, the butler's entrance from the scullery with vodka.
Oh, wow, fantastic. You've done a wonderful job here. It is absolutely beautiful house.
Thank you very much. It's actually my first fully bespoke custom high-end house ever.
Wow. Oh my God, that's amazing.
What the community group wanted us to do was to help visitors see Noongar country through Noongar eyes. So the building itself acts as a kind of a frame to the landscape. There's an idea called a cultural compass, where there's little windows that are placed in the building that gesture out into the landscape towards distant sites.
I'm interested, did the interpretation actually inform the architecture?
Yes, I think it did. I think what the community wanted is they wanted a building that wasn't like a regular Western building. It didn't look like a building that would sit in the street. We spoke about the building almost looking like a bit of flotsam, like a burnt timber log that could have drifted down the river and perched on the edge of the river. We've got recycled jarrah slats on the outside of the veranda, but the majority of the building is concrete and steel frame and steel clad because of the reality of where it's sitting and the fact that it's sitting on the floodplain and perched above it. The river has to be able to flow underneath the building. So it gives the building a requirement to be very durable.
These projects are a big risk for shires. You're obviously brave.
Yeah, well, look, there certainly is a financial risk, no question. Building these centres is quite easy because we did get a lot of support from the state and federal government. It's the ongoing commitment, which is quite significant for the local government. But look, it's such an important project. The Noongar culture is really important, and it really does need to be showcased and shared with our community. So there's a social cohesion element about bringing the Noongar community and the white community together as one, and having the building in the centre of town certainly does that. I'm really proud of what we've been able to achieve, and I think the building speaks for itself.
It definitely does. But now I'm off to see some of those amazing exhibits I've heard about. I'm really interested to know, you work here at the centre. What did you think when you first saw the building unveiled?
Yeah, so I was working at the visitor centre next door, so I was always looking out the window.
Oh, you're watching it, you're cheating.
Yeah. So I was always looking out the window and seeing how it was progressing, and yeah, I love it.
What is it like talking about your culture to Wodjula, white people?
Yeah, it's good. Like, sometimes I don't really understand like where we're coming from. Like, it's always good to explain to other people about our culture.
And have you sat around the yarning circle?
Yeah, I'm actually in the yarning circle as well.
Oh, really? In the one here?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Oh, what are you talking about?
So in that one, we're talking about like our lives in Northam, and like a lot of footy, because footy is very popular with the
I know, and I love
culture.
footy.
Yeah.
I'm a footy tragic.
Yeah.
I did that research.
Oh, did you?
This area has bred so many amazing football players, the Balladon people. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the family tree of the AFL can actually be traced back to the Avon Valley and to Balladon country. There must be something in the water.
Here we keep the story of Australia, and the story of Australia's architecture, of course, is a critical part of that. These are the architectural drawings of the Canberra cottages for workmen. So when the workers were coming into Canberra to build the national capital, of course, to construct all of those buildings was a federal initiative. So these are the plans of the representatives of the many cottages that sprung up around Canberra at the time.
Now, David, it's no secret that you were once part of Asia, and we've also got some top secret stuff which I've been given clearance to look at. This is wonderful.
Right, that's right, you have my special permission. Well, now you've revealed all my secrets, that's quite right. So now this is the collection of papers from Harold Holt, former Prime Minister of Australia, Harold Holt. If he had to take very important papers home with him, inside we have individual pouches there with, safeguard envelope contains. He had a number of things in there based on whatever issue he was looking at. If we just open one up, we can see that it holds a top secret intelligence report. We have here his briefcase, HEH, Harold Edward Holt.
Am I allowed to touch that with my gloves
yes,
on?
you are, yeah, by all means. Yes.
So this is Harold Holt's briefcase, and there's his initials. Wow.
I didn't say you could sniff it, but you can touch it.
I want to get the full flavour of it, yeah, wow. And I believe there's like 15 million items.
15 million items, that's right.
Yeah, yes. And you as director going, get me that coin from
That's right.
You want it on my desk.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah, so it's got to be a very well-oiled machine, and the building here has got to be part of that machinery.